Hello, everyone. Welcome to Anointed Lady TV, the home of news and politics. If it is your first time in this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like what we do on this channel, hit on the subscribe button. Also put on the notification bell so you'll be notified by YouTube anytime we drop a new video. And if you are returning subscribers, thank you very much for always coming back to watch our videos. On this platform, we drop videos every day and we react to every video that come our way. And on this very video, I will be watching with you. And after watching, let's go to the comment section and drop our opinion constructively. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. See you next time in my next video.
Be resolved, and very soon we are interested in our children going back to school. And if ASUU and other unions in the university system want to comply with the labor laws of the country, the land, once I have apprehended a dispute and brought it to my table, you return to what is called status quo ante bellum. You go back from war and start teaching your students while this is work in progress. So even as they have abandoned their jobs, all of them, and the children are at home, discussions and work is still going on, is work in progress. So they should have stayed back to work while we are doing all this. So this is the situation with the ASUU and other union palaver. We are not giving any preferential treatment to anybody. If government decide to opt, which they will do, which government is ready to do, if we decide to raise their packages, it will be holistically done for all the university unions because they're all in the same environment. And we know also that once you do it in the universities, the polytechnics will come. We also know that the colleges of education will come. They're all educational sector. And once you finish with the educational sector, we also know that the health system will come. So it's complex, like he said.
These and demonstrations by students are indicative of an unhealthy public education system in the country.
We have identified and we have seen that what is happening in the education sector in this country is madness. And we have been gentle with this federal government, the Minister of Education, everybody involved on this issue. We have approached, we've consulted, we've consolidated. Those two approaches have failed. Now we are consulting fully. The new leadership of NAS at the national level, we are coming out fully every day from now henceforth to come out against the federal government and this madness. Because it is only madness we can use to attack this madness. Because if it is not madness, the government will not be comfortable seeing their students sitting at home for the past 6 months, going to 7 months now, and they are comfortable giving us excuses. Now we are tired of their excuses. We want action, immediate action.
The venue is after the Ṣàgámù interchange section of the expressway inward Lagos. The protest staged by members of the National Association of Nigerian Students resulted in a gridlock on the major highway connecting Lagos to other regions of the country.
We are here to send a clear signal that enough is enough. Nigerian students are tired of staying at home. They are students, school in India, Europe, Asia, in America. Obviously, they do not have any value for education in Nigeria. And we have said it clear, categorically and emphatically, without mixing words, that the National Assembly should, as a matter of urgency, pass a bill banning, stopping all political office holders from accessing education in diaspora. Not just only them, but they and their immediate family, their children and their associates. They should be stopped from accessing education as well as Medicare in diaspora. That will go a long way in settling the poor at the moment.
We are here to make it known to the world that Nigerian students at the level of Nigerian universities, we are not happy. We have been coming out to cry to the federal government and to our lecturers, the ASUU, that they should please bring us back to our campus. But it's obvious that the federal government has deliberately decided to change the destiny of we Nigerian students. Imagine the federal government deliberately not giving response or seeing it expedient for them to have a ransom negotiation with ASUU for us to go back to our campus. It is obviously that Nigerian students, I mean the male Nigerian students, most of them now has gone to become a cab drivers. Our female students, most of them has involved in prostitution, and these are things that we frown at. I want this opportunity to call on the National Assembly that they should, as a matter of urgency, see into this. Also, we urge them that they should make sure that they come out to attend to our plight.
The Minister of Education and his counterpart at the Ministry of Labour and Employment have been leading negotiations with the striking university lecturers since they embarked on the latest strike in February, but none of those meetings have been able to solve the impasse.
We are interested in our children going back to school. And if ASUU and other unions in the university system want to comply with the labor laws of the country, the land, once I have apprehended a dispute and brought it to my table, you return to what is called status quo ante bellum. You go back from war and start teaching your students while this is work in progress. So even as they have abandoned their jobs, all of them, and the children are at home, discussions and work is still going on, is work in progress. So they should have stayed back to work while we are doing all this. So this is the situation with the ASUU and other union palaver. We are not giving any preferential treatment to anybody.
Students chanted solidarity songs while lamenting the ongoing strike by ASUU. The students say they'll continue to occupy major highways in protest against the ongoing ASUU strike, demanding an immediate end to the industrial action. As part of seeking solutions to the crisis, the federal government dragged members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASUU before Justice Polycarp Hammond of National Industrial Court to seek redress over the lingering strike by the lecturers. Counsel to ASUU, Femi Falana, argues that the matter was adjourned for further mention and not for hearing. He says he's been served with the federal government's interlocutory injunction. He adds that ASUU is currently meeting with stakeholders to ensure that the lingering crisis is resolved.
We have no business coming here because the matter ought to have been resolved by now. And the government has just set up another committee of 14 members. That was done last week. So we're expecting their report. When we're just suddenly told that the government had rushed to the court. I hope it's not a reaction to the suit by Sèréàùśly. What the law envisaged was that if you didn't work, you shouldn't be paid. But if I'm saying I am going to work, you know in the past, when ASUU declared strike, the members always covered lost ground, and they're going to do so this time. So there shouldn't be any blackmail here. Because when the government says there's no money, but you know there's money in the country. But it's a question of priority. Has the government given attention to education? And we must run a country where agreements are observed by governments under the rule of law. Because once the government has signed an agreement with ASUU and is registered in the Ministry of Labour, it's binding on the government. But the government has a way of violating its own commitment all the time. And that is why you have these strikes.
The action of the federal government is totally condemnable in trying to abandon the negotiations that commenced already and not allowing that process to go through. We had filed an action on the 8th of September before this same National Industrial Court, asking the court to compel the government to respect and enforce the agreements that is pending and binding on the parties. because we're not giving a good impression to the entire world. If you willingly enter into agreements, and then for one reason or the other, one party to that agreement is not willing to abide by it, and is trying to use force. And that's why it's important that we believe that the court will intervene to ensure that that agreement remains enforceable. And then once that is done, we can then talk about how lecturers can go back to the universities, and then the schools will open, because the state of the universities presently is totally decrepit. I am working with a lot of alumni in my own former university, building hostels, doing a lot of things to ensure that the welfare of students and lecturers is something that can be proud of. So we can't allow a system whereby government abandons its own responsibilities, and then the money that is supposed to be used for infrastructure and the education of our children are being embezzled. How much is ASUU asking for? What does it take to build the universities? So we believe that those of us who went through those universities, it was because of the commitment of government that we were able to attend those schools, and we came out.
Delivering a ruling on the interlocutory injunction filed by the federal government, Justice Polycarp Hammond restrained ASUU from continuing with the industrial action pending the determination of the suit.
The ruling by the Honorable Court is very consistent with rule of law. It's also a recognition of the fundamental role that education play in development, in national development, in economic development. And also, it recognizes the fact that without education, there will be no rule of law. I thank the judiciary for saving educational development. What has happened is that the past 7 months, educational development has been halted, particularly in public universities in Nigeria, which ought not to be, because when that fundamental pillar on which development rests is halted for 7 months, it means the entire economic, the entire social development is also halted, which ought not to be. So what the court did was to agree with us that an interlocutory injunction has to be granted against the Academic Staff Union of Universities, their agents, privies, or whatever name they are described, from continuing with the strike pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. That's in accordance with rule of law. And then we are happy because we really have to do something to ensure that the bedrock of development in Nigeria, education, is not destroyed.
Justice Polycarp, who is a vacation judge, orders that the case file be returned to the President of the Industrial Court for reassignment to another judge. ASUU President Professor Osodeke, who was on our program Politics Today, believes that the court should have also asked the federal government to consider meeting the demands of the lecturers.
You go to court when your collective bargaining and your negotiation have broken down. We don't have a broken down negotiation with government. We don't. As we speak, so the National Assembly are handling the issue. You read it yesterday, and we reached an understanding yesterday. We reached an understanding yesterday on how to resolve this problem in the university system, to ensure Nigerian university students go back to university in peace, well taught, in a comfortable environment. We reached an understanding with them. They are going to meet the president to present to him, and if they agree, the strike is called off. If all these are going on to resolve the problem amicably in the interest of the system, and the Minister of Labour decided to go to court, you had a meeting with the president on Friday last week. We have a meeting with the Senate this week, the two major arms of the government, and they said we are handling the issue, we will resolve it within a very short time. And a member of that executive go to court. But we were surprised when we went to the court, the judgment was given in favor of federal government. Who said it didn't go to court? That tells you the type of thing you have as a country. A minister went to who went to the court? Because when we went to the court, the person is the Minister of Labour that took the case to court. Why the executive arm and legislative arm of the government are resolving the issues? The higher decision-making person in this country is the president of the country. And the president told the whole country, I have listened to you. I will consult and come back to you. The president of the country. We went to the legislative arm and we finished, and they said, yes, we have reached some understanding. Give us 1 week to meet with the president when he comes back from a trip he went abroad, and we'll resolve this problem. While we are doing this, somebody wants to call to say, you must force them back to school. You see, let me tell you the catastrophe of what has just happened today. It's a catastrophe. The last time this happened was during the military era. You know the catastrophe? I can assure you when this strike is over, a large number of our lecturers are going to migrate from this country.
Also reacting to the judgment, Minister of Labour and Employment Chris Ngige advises the Academic Staff Union of Universities to obey the National Industrial Court ruling and call off its ongoing nationwide strike while negotiations continue.
Once there is a court judgment or ruling or order, you must first obey, and then you can apply for an appeal if you so desire, or apply for a stay if you so desire. Say that's a stay of execution. So the maxim in law, jurisprudence and everything about the law is that you obey a court's ruling, judgment or order, no matter how bad. The qualifying thing is that no matter how bad and no matter how you disagree with it, you first obey. Like the military people say, obey before complain. So we expect them to get back to the classroom. But that doesn't foreclose negotiations. The negotiations will be on. As a matter of fact, it will be on official and unofficially. For example, the House of Representatives have invited us to come and brief them. I will honor the invitation and go and brief them on the situation of things. And together, they are stakeholders. You know, he had the president say to the pro-chancellors who came to see him, the committee of pro-chancellors, that he would do consultation as per the two requests they made to him. Request on putting an icing on the cake on the government offer to ASUU members and the issue of a resettlement fund to cushion the effect of the no work, no pay situation they found themselves in.
The government is not run by sentiment. Government is run by reality on ground. It's like what ASUU is demanded for. For Christ's sake, ASUU is right in what they're asking. But however, which government can pull out that kind of money without the government crumbling? Tell me that government. Which government can now pull out trillions of naira to just pay to one? It's not possible. But whether they are right, yes. But what's important that look, you sit there on the table, you take this, we take this. No winner, no, for the interest of the nation. It is done. After all, the problem did not start today. The problem has been there all along. And again, it is also part of the problem we're having of electing those who are not committed to solving problems. Some people just manage it, at least I'm going anyhow when I leave. When you leave, it's not ASUU, but it's the people that will suffer it. And which are the students, parents.
Court orders and fiat instructions or directives do not solve a crisis. What you need to do is to settle down and dialogue more. And I believe ASUU is prepared to concede in more. Federal government is also, Mr. President did say he is going to consult more and get back to the Committee of Pro-Chancellors. And I believe if that is done, we'll be able to resolve the crisis rather than just giving a fiat order. We are in a democracy. We are not under military dictatorship, please.
I want to leave una comment for the comment section there. Una tell me how una see the matter, whether it good or it bad. If it good, make una let me know. If it still bad, make una still let me know. Because mo let me wash hand. I need to bring and come give una wey be my people wey dey here. Make una follow me shook mouth put whether it dey good or it dey bad. So if it dey right, una still leave una comment below. If it dey bad, una still leave una comment below. Una remember say everybody gets freedom of speech.